My fellow Americans, it is I, the ghost of Abraham Lincoln, here to tell you yet again that this podcast is rated E for explicit. Ultimately, I think you know that by now. In fact, the last time they hired me to do this, it didn't turn out so well for me. You know, a lot of people underestimate how fragile ghosts are. But I'll tell you, I enjoy a good naughty word or two. I'm not fragile in my sensibilities, if you know what I mean. I can handle the potty talk. And these gentlemen, they bring a great substance to my body. Oh, not again.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest and greatest installment of Go Folk Yourself podcast, an American podcast. Tonight on the microphone, you have myself, Brett, as well as
Dan. Hi, everybody.
And who else we got in the studio today?
Hey, it's me, Victor.
Actually, that's me. That was an imposter.
Hey, real
this
Victor,
is real
can you
Victor.
please shut up?
Yeah, can
Doing
you let...
that bit? God damn it. This is Nick. Fine. It's Nick.
There we go. That's the full house minus Ethan, because he is in his home planet of Alabama as we are recording this.
Yeah.
Some of our
His
coffee.
home planet.
Yeah, he's out there strolling amongst the fields, visiting
Rolling
the
tides.
double wide that he was born in.
Yep. Checking in on his high school sweetheart, Jenny.
Making sure she's...
It's really...
Making sure her son isn't like him.
but
I'm
is
sure
smart.
Ethan's family is appreciating this.
But
To be fair,
they don't have to worry about money anymore.
I don't think they listen to our show.
I don't believe
True.
so.
I don't
Ethan
Madison,
doesn't
please.
listen
I
to
really
our
hope
show.
Madison.
We're good.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
fine.
you're absolutely right.
Yeah, so he's on family vacation and is not going to be able to record with us today, but that's okay. We don't need him.
No,
all right?
We never needed him.
We want him.
Yeah.
We need to
difference.
want him. And that's
He
what's
wants us to
important.
want him.
He does.
Yeah.
He needs us to need him.
He's a true lover.
He'd
boy,
love
really.
us to love him.
I know. And we do. And if you're listening to this now, Ethan, we missed you. But I know that you'll never hear this. You terrible, terrible man. So, what are we going to be talking about tonight, guys?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I got the abbreviation for this one. It's AV, so I assume we're talking about Arlington, Virginia.
Your dyslexia fucked
Maybe.
us again.
I mean,
Damn it.
not too wrong. I mean, yeah, Virginia is correct.
Oh, shit. Look at that.
There you go. You're
Okay.
You're not wrong. You could just stand to be a little bit more right.
That's what everybody tells me.
I kind of fucked up. I assumed it was all about tobacco and Virginia Slims, so I have like the whole history of. Luckily, I have other fun facts as well.
Is that what
other
all those
than
cartons of cigarettes are for?
maybe.
Did
The
you
show-
think we were going to do like a taste test?
I thought it was weird
blind
that we
taste
were
test
just
of
going to
Virginia
talk
Slims.
about Virginia
You know-
Slims, but I assume Nick got us a marketing deal or something. I don't
That's
know. how it
incredibly insensitive, as both Brett and myself have kicked the nicotine demon off our back, and now you're going
Exactly.
to try to put that back to it.
Like
I
the
mean,
first-
hand me the
No,
carton. Will you at
give
least
me-
hand me one carton?
Yeah.
Fine.
Give
Here-
me one.
No, stop.
Thank
Come
you.
on,
me
man. Come on, man. I'm jonesing for one. I haven't had one in years. And
Virginia Slims, when you want to smoke but look like a lady.
hey, you know what? Weirdly enough, I know what Virginia Slims taste
Ooh,
like. My
okay.
mother smokes
Victor, maybe turn
Virginia
off your
Slims.
mic for a little bit, pal.
To be fair, I don't necessarily think of it as like, oh, it's a feminine cigarette. I
It's an
think
old lady cigarette. is what
I
always
think nope. I think
That's
of
why
the
it's- yeah.
penguin. Every time
Oh,
someone's
really?
smoking a cigarette like that, even though I know he has that like opera holder for a cigarette, that's
Yeah.
the whole thing.
It is
I
still
just-
a slim cigarette that he smokes.
Exactly. So I just every time I've
Yeah.
ever smoked one, it's always been like, like I just can't help.
Whenever
Yeah, that wasn't a sexist thing. That was like to look like a lady, like a proper
like
lady.
a classy lady.
Yes.
A proper lady.
Yes,
A
a
Cruella
proper.
de
I'm
Vil,
sorry.
if
I
you
should
will.
have.
Clarifying.
Yeah.
I think of Gilbert Delatour Dautry from the hit series King of the Hill anytime that I think of Virginia Slims. 'cause
God damn it.
when I was smoking and I would need to bum one from my mother, I would have to, unfortunately, have a Virginia Slim.
Yeah.
And it would always make me think of being a effeminate Cajun aristocrat, which is a very
Which
nice
is how you
feeling.
normally describe yourself.
I want want to see Walton Goggins with a Virginia Slim.
You know that man smoked a Virginia Slim in his
Oh,
life.
sure, but I like his character in Vice Principals should have been smoking.
He
them.
would have absolutely smoked Virginia Slim.
Speaking about Virginia, did you know Virginia's name for from England, Virgin Queen?
Hold on.
You guys miss me doing those or
Hold
what?
on. We'll just pause everything. First off, when did Victor start doing that again? I thought we all
I thought
agreed.
that we moved Nick into doing that.
I figured it's been a minute. I'm like, let's see. Maybe he learned something.
We talked about it before the show. We're just trying something out.
We did not talk about this.
We just wanted to
Was this
see
a
how it
text
feels.
thread between you and Nick only?
It
Possibly.
was a B team exclusive.
Great.
You guys have your own group chat?
And the Discord, yeah. And you can
And a
get
Slack.
access to that Discord by being a patron on Patreon.
Wow, then you can get into all the shenanigans that we get into on a daily basis now.
It's so much fun.
It really is just a vulgar chat room.
It is-
If you'd like
it
to join
really
a vulgar chat room with us, please come on in.
I'm going to add another room that's just literally.
There was a good
just
day
like
about dogs.
folks who love yiffing.
Just pictures of dogs in
Yeah,
there.
there were a lot of dogs.
everybody's
Dogs being
pets.
put on top of Brett's head. My head being
Yeah.
put on top of Brett's head.
I didn't see that one. I haven't checked
I
it
didn't
today.
either.
Yeah. Check it out. Go to Patreon. Look for Go Folk Yourself. All you got to do is contribute, I think, what, $5?
Uh-huh.
$5.
No, the Discord is any tier.
Any tier. Oh,
Any
yeah.
tier.
All
So
of our
Are
literally-
you
patrons.
sure about that?
Even the price.
I don't
of a
think you're
McDonald's
accurate on that.
coffee. I'm going to look it up.
I don't
I'm
think you're
pretty
accurate
sure.
on that. I'm pretty sure it's $5.
It's $5 for that.
Yeah. Because we wanted to put
Yeah.
a gate there.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
it
The
is
$1 one
$5,
is
yeah.
just to be like, hey, thanks.
Yeah.
The $5 one is the Discord.
No, look, $1 gets you access to Patreon content, which
Yeah.
is like
Absolutely.
a big deal. But our Discord, I mean, that is a direct line to us, and we have to screen that because, I don't know, you might be a sexual predator, and if you are, then you should be talking to Brett because that's what he's looking for.
Exactly. I've always wanted to be stalked and murdered. It's the greatest erotic pleasure that my mind could come
Speaking
up with.
of murder, do you know what Virginia's state motto is, Brett?
Give
It's
me the
one of
iPad.
your
Give me
favorites.
that. Give me that.
No,
Jesus.
Hold, does
No,
it
no,
have
I
to do
need to
with
see where this goes.
Does
What's
it have
this?
to do with murder?
The
What's
South
up?
shall rise again.
No.
Because I do like that one, the state motto of Alabama.
What did a famous assassin yell out?
Six
Six
separate
separate
tyrannies.
tyrannies.
Yes,
Are you serious?
that is their
That's-
state motto.
That's ballsy.
Yeah, Virginia.
That's why
you-
he called it, though, because that's probably been Virginia's state motto for a long time.
So Virginia also had 3 different capitals, and it's a weird thing because most Civil War battles were fought over there, over 2,000. But it's definitely the line of where all this shit happened
No,
for sure.
the line is Maryland. Like, that's literally the Mason-Dixon. But Virginia was, like, this has always been so interesting because South Carolina was where the capital was, right? The southern
Yeah, it
capital.
was too far away from the north to be like taken early on.
Exactly,
Fucking
but, like,
Richmond was.
Virginia
But
was
it also-
100% like the real hotbed of the Civil War.
Well, I have this: the capital in Richmond was also the capital of the Confederacy.
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
that's-
really?
Yeah, Richmond was
yeah,
the capital.
The South Carolina was the first to secede.
That's
from
what it
the
was.
Union. But Virginia.
I'm
was
sorry,
like
they flew their Confederate flag for so long. I had to assume it was because they were the capital.
Yeah, and still to this day.
Yeah, that's my fault. My fault. I guess it's pride, not prejudice. Am I right? People who still wish you had slaves.
okay.
Seems like both.
It's both.
Pride,
it is both.
Pride and prejudice.
Little column A, little column B, you know.
The lesser known Jane Austen novel.
The one I would actually be more interested in reading.
Because Virginia's had 3 different capital cities: Jamestown, Williamsburg, and Richmond.
Colonial Williamsburg was the capital
And then
of
Jamestown at one
Virginia.
point.
And
yeah.
the ill-fated Jamestown
Yep.
colony.
Wow.
Wow.
And then the
What happened in Jamestown?
No one knows.
Oh, no.
What happened in Roanoke? That's the real question.
I watched the American Horror Story Roanoke here recently. I can tell you exactly what happened.
What happened?
Okay.
A really weird season of American Horror Story.
Ah.
That was the most bizarre one I've seen yet. And that's counting the second season, which is terrible.
Better or worse than Lady Gaga's season?
Haven't seen Lady Gaga's season.
That's the hotel one, right?
Yeah.
I haven't watched any of them. So
It's not bad. Kathy Bates, Lady Gaga, you actually can't go wrong.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'm gonna have to watch that a little
This
bit
is
later
quickly turning into a deep folking
About
about Lady Gaga.
on. Tell me more
Horror
about
Story.
Virginia and their thin cigarettes for ladies.
Those
And their
West
coal
Virginia
mines.
Slenders.
Well, the major cash crop in Virginia is, as you can guess it, tobacco.
Clean burning American tobacco.
Yes.
Can't beat
Wacky
that.
or otherwise?
Both.
Oh, good.
yeah, it will be both. 100%. They've got
It's all
they've got
there.
the ground for both of them. Like that, they can run those.
Really?
This fertile soil from God is
Oh, I
growing
guess
that wacky
Washington,
tobacco.
Washington did grow hemp on his plantation.
He did.
so,
Yep.
Yeah.
Jefferson, too. Actually, Jefferson more so than Washington.
And speaking of presidents, can you guys name the 8 presidents that were born in Virginia?
Ooh, hold on. I got this. George Washington.
Yeah.
Boom.
Got it.
Thomas Jefferson. Going down in order here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Madison.
Yep.
Jackson.
No, he was from
No.
South.
He was. I knew he aligned with the South, but I thought he was still from Virginia.
He was from like Tennessee.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I got one off. Now it's Brett.
Monroe.
Yes,
Oh,
James
fuck.
Monroe,
Of course, Monroe.
a famous actor, is named after this president that it's been in.
Ronald
multiple
Reagan.
No,
Ronald Reagan.
I don't know.
his last name rhymes with this person from both Indiana Jones and Star Wars. William Harrison.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
okay.
not a
Doesn't
rhyme.
rhyme.
That
Sorry,
is
or whatever
the
his
name.
name. Sorry, whatever.
That
I was trying
really,
to rhyme with
sorry.
Ford. I was
Oh,
like, I don't-
sorry.
like President Ford, Han Fordson.
You don't remember President Solo?
We're not
Indiana Bones.
He never showed up to say
We're not gonna get the rest of these.
Indiana Bones. John Taylor,
Never would have guessed.
Zachary Taylor, and
Well, I
Woodrow
assumed.
Wilson.
Huh.
Yeah.
Racist Woodrow Wilson.
Famed racist Woodrow Wilson. Well, I guess you could say that of a lot of our presidents, though.
All of them.
Yeah,
actually.
probably all.
And which 7 presidents are buried in Virginia?
All of them.
All that's
All
where they
7.
all go.
They're all
they
7
all have to go.
offices.
They just keep pushing them down.
Shove
and
another
down.
president in the pile.
For those of you that are from Europe and don't know, whenever a sitting president dies, we actually leave them out in state to have the birds pick their bones clean.
And then cast
And then
their
they're-
marble.
yeah.
And that's so Lincoln is actually Lincoln's
Yeah.
body is entombed in that marble.
Well, his
statue.
skeleton.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know.
Here in the United States, we call that a presidential sky burial, and it's the highest of honor that any American citizen.
Someone's
going
going to believe all of this.
It's really bad.
all of it.
Yeah,
I want the angry church. Actually, they're not.
I know Washington's buried there because he has
he's
like
on he's on site at his house, isn't he?
and he has like you can
He's
it's
stuffed in a chair.
no you can see his coffin though, like they have
Really?
it's a mausoleum and
Oh,
you can
that's
see
crazy.
his coffin, and they used to not have it blocked off so you could actually walk up. Now they block it off because people have been
Weird.
fucking with it because why not? Like, I'm not historical, but let me carve into this wood.
Yeah.
Now I'm a part of history. Fuck you.
Jefferson's
That's
at
shitty.
Monticello, I believe. I think
Yeah.
he's at his buried at his home.
Yeah, Jefferson's
Yeah.
in there. Madison, Monroe,
Okay.
Tyler, and then 2 other ones are Taft and Kennedy.
Huh.
Well,
Oh, I guess Kennedy's in Arlington.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I want to be
Yeah,
important
yeah.
enough to
Yeah.
be buried at my house.
Oh, I get he's at the Eternal Flame area. I forgot that that's actually where he's
Yeah.
buried too.
which beautiful.
Yeah,
like such
fantastic.
a beautiful, so good.
Have you guys been to Arlington before?
Nope.
I have not.
It's
it is
awesome.
it's an incredible cemetery experience. I fucking love going into cemeteries. That one is one of the most like well kept that I've ever seen. As you would expect for one that's a government owned
Yeah.
property. For
But honestly, if you are planning a trip, if it's raining, it's okay to skip it. Just it's important to note.
Because we don't have
thanks,
umbrellas.
Thanks,
Wanna-
President Trump.
Make sure you know.
Don't want to get your hair wet.
The
You know?
Yeah.
topical.
You have a call to be on.
Now, you got to call. It's very important.
Yeah, more important than that.
Putin's not giving you a thumbs up if you come in looking like a wet cat.
Fun fact about Arlington Cemetery. For those of you that
They
are
hand out complimentary umbrellas.
but Arlington is actually was formerly the property of Confederate General Robert E. Lee, and it was actually one of
Wow.
the first places that was captured by the North in the Civil War.
Holy shit.
And so they used it as a command headquarters as a fuck you to Robert E. Lee,
And then a
And then
cemetery, for our
the Union
dead.
dead.
Fuck.
Yeah,
Take that because what they did was treason. Everybody,
yeah.
fly the flag
exactly.
all you want. Again, we're dealing with treason.
So it's treason then.
It's treason.
Ooh, nice prequel
Thank you.
reference. That was topical internet of you.
God, stupid prequel.
Has anyone
memes.
else, other than Brad, been to Virginia?
Yes.
I have been to Virginia.
I have
many
not been to
times.
I recognize I raised my hand and didn't say
Yeah.
anything.
Yes. Great radio, Dan.
I
This is
know.
really good.
For everyone in the audience, everyone rose their hand except me.
Virginia is fucking awesome.
It's okay.
You don't like it?
It's okay.
It's
I
so
think it's
close to
beautiful.
Maryland. He's just going to go
Of
back
course
home.
it's beautiful, but that whole area is beautiful. But who cares?
I mean, it's better than Florida.
Is it?
In terms of like visual.
Why do they all
aesthetic.
come here then?
I don't think many
Do they?
Virginians are coming to Florida. It's mostly New Yorkers that are escaping the snow.
It's all of them. Anyone who deals with snow thinks of going to the tropics.
Welcome to the tropics of Florida, where it never snows down here.
The state of Lemoyne.
I came to Florida from the north to deal with my asthma. My
Trying to
Yeah.
run away from them
Nin-
Yankees.
My 19th century doctor recommended that it would be
Go
better
somewhere warm.
for my humors.
Yeah, well, I was dealing with tuberculosis, and they said there's no way around it, but you needed to go somewhere where it's wet and warm. So
Yeah,
here I am. This is really
Thanks,
And
19th
rest.
century medicine.
Just rest.
just rest is all you need.
all you can do.
That's it. It's a ugly thing.
That's why most people are here. Some weird disease that a doctor could not
Yeah.
take the time to look up the cure for. Yeah,
That's
you got
why-
to go somewhere warm.
Well, here's your opium prescription and a train ticket to Florida.
Oh, and if you're thinking when you get there it's going to be hard to fill, I promise you, they're going to give you plenty of opium.
Oh, you've had enough opium? Well, have you tried heroin?
It's like opium, but refined.
It's like
Oh,
extra
can't
strength
afford
opium.
heroin? That's fine. Have you thought of meth?
No? Okay.
Maybe Florida's not for you.
Maybe you stay back home. You'll just die in the sanatorium.
So, Victor, what other fun facts you got? Are we finally free of you?
I think we're really good, except this is kind of festive. The first Thanksgiving in North America was held in Virginia in 1619.
Ah, very nice.
Yeah.
We do have this is we're actually recording this right before Thanksgiving for
Yeah,
those
that's
two
true.
that
Well, the
wanna
illusion's
peek behind the
gone now.
scenes.
No, yeah, we don't know when this is going to release, but that's fine, Brett. Thanks.
Hey, that's
Whatever.
fine.
Yeah.
Who cares? We're people too.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Even though this episode comes out in December, probably.
Probably.
January, we got a
January.
backlog.
Yeah,
to
this
go
is like
through.
2019.
Burr, is it cold where you are? We don't remember
We
what
don't
time
know.
it is.
Happy winter or spring, y'all.
For those who don't know, Florida has no seasons. It's just they have two. We have the dry season and the rain season, like Africa.
There's sweltering and there's less sweltering.
We're currently in less sweltering.
Yeah.
It is a brisk 70 degrees here in
Very
the middle
nice.
of
It is
November.
Very, very nice.
Yeah, it's nice. Jacket weather even.
Some would
Almost.
say.
Yeah. So, any interesting Thanksgiving stories for I know we're talking about first Thanksgiving. You guys know anything?
No,
about
we
the
did that
background
all
of
in the Thanksgiving episode, Brett. Why
No,
would we
Yeah.
do this
we're
again?
talking about Virginia. This is Virginia history.
We're talking
So-
about the first Thanksgiving
first
stories.
Thanksgiving.
I have no first Thanksgiving stories, but I do have a question.
Yeah.
How do you
All right.
spell Squanto?
Hang on. So,
God damn.
so we did not have good relations with the Native Americans right away.
We did. They did. The Pilgrims and in the Plymouth plantation area had a fantastic relationship up until the second generation when they decided to start taking more things from them than they could afford. So what's interesting is Massasoit and Squanto, as you brought up, both fucking spoke English, by the way. Which how
Oh,
much
really?
of a mind fuck would that have been to come
Hello,
literally
gents.
across the
It's
world?
me, Squanto.
Yeah,
Welcome
right?
to our land.
Because he had
But
been
we're
to
the
Europe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was
I
like,
didn't know
he
that.
got he was sick and got picked up by fishermen, and they were like, "Well, we don't have a doctor, but we can take you back home with us." And he was like, "Okay, I don't really want to go with you." And they decided to show him off in Europe, so they kind of kidnapped him.
But he learned English.
but he learned to speak English, and then he came back because somebody brought him home. And so when the Pilgrims
Let's
got
go,
there, they were
pal.
like, "This dude just fucking walked up and was like, hey guys, how's it going?"
damn.
He turned around, he's like, I
Yeah,
got this.
And
That's
He went to Europe
incredible.
and back. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He didn't die from a disease like
No.
Pocahontas.
but
Wow. Oof.
there's a really
That's the
good
end of Pocahontas,
Yeah.
by the way.
yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
yeah. She picked up
The
like
Disney thing is not true at all, and John
Yeah,
Smith's a
no.
coward.
smallpox.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
would say,
know.
let's be real, it's still a better ending than the real Little Mermaid where she turns to foam and
what's-
dies.
Sorry to go on a tangent. You know what's offensive? So I saw that. I was like, oh, that's a really sad story. I'm scrolling through Netflix, and guess what Pocahontas 2 is about?
Her going to Europe.
To a brave new world. And I'm like, oh god,
I didn't realize
this
they made
is
a
so
second
bad.
one.
They
They
made
did.
a ton of sequels in like the late '90s, early 2000s, straight to video, awful crap.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that even existed.
Yeah, there's 2 Aladdin movies like that as well.
Really?
3,
No,
3
well,
total, right?
Aladdin
Oh, okay.
and then the 2 sequels.
Yeah.
Robin Williams is not in the second one. It's Homer Simpson doing Genie.
Yeah. Weird.
And then Robin Williams comes back in the third. No, there's a reason. Mike, I think it was Michael Eisner fucked Robin Williams over on Aladdin. Like,
Really?
It's a really interesting story. I'll give the Cliff Notes version, seeing as this is not the point of this podcast.
Yeah, sorry.
Essentially, Robin Williams was a very big star. Disney was not doing well financially, their animation department. They really wanted Robin Williams. Robin Williams agreed to do it for like well below his rate. No commission on the back end, none of that, as long as they didn't use him as the only, or like even in promotional materials, because he didn't want it to be the Robin Williams movie. because he had Toys, the movie Toys, coming out later that year, and that was like his
Oh.
passion project.
Really?
And so Disney used the hell out of his voice and everything, and so he was
And
just
he's
like,
the poster. That's okay. I heard
He's the-
reverse
yep.
that he was like upset by that he would like that he wasn't on the poster for some weird
no,
reason.
he
But
he
he's
he
literally
literally
the
in his
poster.
contract was like, I will only like. I think the rule was like my character can't take up more than like 1/3 of the poster.
Yeah.
And so they made it so that he's the framing device for the whole poster. So technically he was a
They
third.
Wow,
him,
but he
yeah.
was the predominant image in it. That is
Yep.
Yeah,
fascinating.
they
So
were
like,
clearly using
so
him,
Robin
so-
Williams basically said "fuck you" to Disney and wouldn't do the made for like TV or made to go straight home movies.
Man, you got to applaud those people that found those loopholes in that contract.
Oh,
That-
yeah.
good for them.
Oh,
they,
yeah.
they should have gotten a raise.
It's also the reason why still on Apple Music you cannot find Friend Like Me, Robin Williams version. It does not exist. You have to buy it.
Oh wow.
really
Weird.
fascinating.
Now we
I
know.
think there is a version somewhere, but it's not the original. It's like
really?
a I don't know. Anyway,
That's
It's
weird.
a VHS recording of it.
Weird.
so
Yeah.
that's
So,
it for
yeah,
fun
that's-
facts. We're
I
good
think
on
fun
those.
facts- I think we're good.
First
Wow.
Thanksgiving. There we go.
Wow.
Straight
right.
into
These fun facts
Pocahontas
brought to
and
you by
Aladdin.
50states.com.
So I guess it's time for a break then.
I guess so.
And then we're going to come back to some spooky but fun stories.
Spooky.
Okay.
Hear me! 'Tis I, Bushrod Washington, from Bushrod's House of Male Wax, located conveniently one exit prior to Colonial Williamsburg here in Virginia. Why are we one exit away, you say, Bushrod? Well, that is because the Colonial Williamsburg Board of Tourism claims my business is anachronistic to colonial America. But nay to you, sir, I say, 'tis just as important to remove the bush from upon the rod as it is for the cooper to build a bucket. Why would they not want it? I say, Henry, why would you not want my business? I'll draw the gentrified crowd of which you seek. The tourists want their genitals to be free of the merkin. They want nothing down there. I understand what the young people want. Come to me, Bushrod, and I'll remove that strip from upon your rod and upon your coin purse, and you will be good to go for he or she of your dreams. Come to me, Bushrod Washington's House of Male Wax. We'll remove the bush from upon the rod.
And welcome back, everybody. That was a message from our sponsors, and definitely not something we just made up.
It never is.
It
I
never
get
is.
so much money for this. You
I
guys.
know.
You have no idea how much work I put into this.
We all drive Porsches because of the advertising revenue that we get from
Yep.
these local businesses
These
across
small
America.
businesses are so hungry for advertising.
I'm really
They-
glad that we committed to just doing improv jokes every episode instead of actually seeking real.
I think that it's good for us.
We could be.
Me
we could-
too, because Harry's Razors, they gave us a real nice offer, and we said no. Artistic integrity, damn you.
Yep.
I use your razors for one thing only: bushrod removal.
Harry's only the best for my Grendel.
All right. So what you guys missed while we were on break, we did draw straws, and it looks like Victor will be sharing no stories in the spook off, which
will
means
not.
that he is our spook off moderator.
Because apparently a haunted Chuck E. Cheese isn't spooky enough or whatever.
Well, it wasn't
They're
even in
all
Virginia. That's the problem.
It's in D.C. That counts.
It
That's
doesn't, though.
It's in
We're
a
gonna
different-
do a DC episode.
fine.
Save the Chuck E. Cheese.
What is DC? Is DC a state? It's not a state. but
It's kind
a-
of like Vatican City. It's just
like-
its own
Yeah.
thing.
It's a territory.
It's its own country?
What is it?
It's not a state. It's not a territory.
It's a
just,
county?
It's just
It's a
our capital.
It's a
It's a
city.
capital.
It's a district.
It's a yeah.
Just a
maybe- yeah.
district.
Like a shopping
A
district.
voting
Like a
district.
shopping district.
Independent. It's a national district. It is the national state.
It's
El
like Puerto
District
Rico.
de Colombia.
It's very confusing.
It's like Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico, but like in
But
Virginia.
we care.
but like
we-
the Senate cares about it.
Here's
yeah.
some paper towels.
Do they have a
DC.
senator?
Not a common.
No, they don't.
Do they have a house rep?
Nope. They don't get
They have a
any of that.
president.
Actually, they might have a house rep, but
What if you live in D? I'm so confused by what
They have a
DC
mayor.
is. They have their own
president.
mayor.
they
It's
have
the
their own
president.
mayor. Yep.
Huh? They have their own county commissioner.
Yep. They have all that, but they are not part of a state or a state on their own.
Hmm.
They do also
Interesting.
get their own electoral college votes.
Do they have a flag?
Nope. It's the American
They have a
flag.
seal for DC.
Yep, it's the
Is it-
presidential seal.
Seems kind of a cop out.
Seal.
I mean, again, it's kind of a big
It's kind
deal
of the
there.
big thing.
That's
what
anyway.
they're known
We'll
for.
discover more about that on the DC episode.
You will get there, but as I was saying, now Victor, as our commissioner, that means you get to choose the best story, obviously, but it also means you get to
Yay.
choose who goes first. So,
I'm gonna go with Brett.
Okay.
oh, fuck you, Victor.
Typical.
So,
fucking stand this.
I'm going to tell a story from the former Confederate capital of Richmond. Those are the bad guys, Europeans, by the way. So,
I know it sounds good. It's not.
yeah, it's not. It sounds like a place of wealth and taste. Well, it was, and then it was
Richmond.
razed to the ground by Ulysses S. Grant,
Yeah.
Raised
triumphant hero of America.
R-A-Z-E-D.
If look up pictures.
Yeah, it's great. So, Richmond is home to the historic Hollywood Cemetery, which draws in paranormal enthusiasts in the hunt of its alleged vampire resident. This myth was born in 1925 after the Churchill Tunnel train collapsed. A terrifying figure with pointed teeth supposedly emerged from the ruins, only to disappear inside a sealed mausoleum in Hollywood Cemetery. The figure was never seen again, but hasn't stopped locals from looking. Satanists and occult groups have reportedly gathered at the site for decades trying to contact the vampire. So, local residents claim that the mausoleum of W.W. Poole, dated from 1913, in Hollywood Cemetery, holds the remains of a vampire. Supposedly, Poole was run out of England in the 1800s for, shocker, being a vampire.
I knew it. I knew it.
Yep.
That's
Or-
how you know he's a vampire. Have you
that-
ever been arrested for being a vampire before?
Uh-huh. Yep.
A vampire.
It's
I had
on
a
his
feeling
record.
because you told us it was a vampire, and I was like, "There's got to be a vampire in the
So
story."
everybody knows that, and especially our British listeners, that the United Kingdom made being a vampire legal in the 1950s. So this is before then. So oral legends.
Is that a real?
That's not a
No,
real
okay.
thing.
I was like,
Jesus
what
Christ.
the fuck?
No,
Because like I was gonna say, how did they get that in there before homosexuality? But
I'm just saying, you can bite a woman.
it's a slippery slope from one to the other.
they were a lot of chemical castrations. I'm sure we could have avoided.
So oral legends were in effect circulating by the 1960s, which may have been influenced by the architecture of the tomb, which has Masonic and ancient Egyptian elements, and double W's, that was kind of hard to say, looking like fangs. Because this cemetery is adjacent to Virginia Commonwealth University, the story became popular among students from the 1980s forward. It was first mentioned in print in the student newspaper Commonwealth Times in 1976. In the past few years, the vampire story has been combined with the collapse of the Chesapeake and Ohio Railroad's Church Hill Tunnel under Church Hill, a neighborhood of eastern Richmond, Virginia, which buried several workers alive on October 2nd, 1925. Part of the story showed up online in 2001 and was reported in print in 2007's Haunted Richmond, The Shadows of Shaco. That's a ghost book for you kids at home. According to the newer story, the tunneling...
Shaco?
Shaco. I think that's how you
Is that
say
a
it.
clown?
Maybe. Like a terrible clown.
I'm gonna tell you scary stories. It's me, Shaco the Clown. Did you know the tunnel collapsed? Fuck everyone.
Was that...
What?
Why
What
would
is Shaco?
Well, he's shock humor.
Is he
that
giving
what
us?
we were
that's
going
where I
with
was
that?
Is
going
he
with
giving
it.
us the news about like
Shocking events.
infrastructure? Yeah, like
Yes.
fucking.
What a weird character you just created.
As if
So-
clouds weren't fucking scary enough. Here's Shaco the Clown.
Isn't that shocking?
He
I'm
sounds
gonna
like
go
a-
ahead and make him like a D-list character on Go Folk Yourself.
Yeah, he's
He'll
not
come
a ret-
back, but like not often.
He's not a frequently returning character.
Yeah, he's not going to be like the gnome.
Jessica,
or the
don't
elves.
draw him.
Please not. We're not burning that drawing request on him. But maybe. I don't know.
It
So,
depends on what you come up with.
according to the newer stories, the tunneling for building the railroad tunnel awakened an ancient evil that lived under the city of Church Hill and brought the tunnel crashing down on the workers. Rescue teams found an unearthly blood-covered creature with jagged teeth and skin hanging from its muscular body, crouching over one of the victims. The creature escaped from the cave-in and raced towards the James River. Pursued by a group of men, it took refuge in the cemetery where it disappeared into the W.W. Poole Mausoleum. According to local author Gregory Maitland, an urban legend and folklore researcher from Virginia, he actually participates in the Night Shift Paranormal Research Group and the Virginia Ghosts and Haunting Research Society. That's a mouthful.
Why are we not like interviewing any of these people?
I think this guy might be dead. But the creature that escaped the tunnel
Whoops.
collapse was actually the 28-year-old railroad fireman Benjamin F. Mosby, who had been shoveling coal into a firebox of a steam locomotive of a work train with no shirt on during the cave-in.
Well, yeah, you don't shovel coal with a shirt on.
Well,
Everyone
the,
knows that.
The
like that little
boiler
detail.
exploded during the collapse, and his upper body was scalded off of him and knocked out some of his teeth.
Man, Rip
And
Mosley.
he ran screaming from the site and was later pronounced dead at nearby Grace Hospital and was then buried at the Hollywood Cemetery. So who knows what the exact story is, but yeah, allegedly there is a vampire lurking the shadows of Richmond.
I think my favorite part of that story was how many like sneaky adjectives were thrown in there, like, oh, his muscly body, and
Well,
he's
it is
shirtless.
Brett, after all.
Yeah,
He was a tradesman, a rough trade there in
as
the
in trade, as trying to coerce straight boys
Yes.
to do stuff with gay guys.
Whoa.
That is not what that means.
I did it wrong.
God.
Trade is a Victorian term, fun fact, for a tradesman who also had a wealthy homosexual sponsor in the upper echelons of society who paid for his education as well as sexual favors.
The
It's
more
wow.
you know.
And a rough trade was one who was even rougher than normal. So.
Oh my God! Wait, he literally is the definition of a sexy minor.
Yeah, that's why he was in there, bitch.
Well, that's the episode, everyone.
well,
Thanks for listening.
Brett wins, and goodbye.
I incepted a sexy minor
Spider into a
my
vampire story.
Dan,
Although
do we
he
even
did
need
die.
the other stories?
No, I think we can go home.
He didn't. I mean,
Victor, pack all this up.
All right,
we're done
we
here,
gotta go.
everybody.
Now, who's going next, Victor?
Nick.
Oh, yeah.
Boom.
Sorry, everybody, in advance.
Probably
Is
a
that
good
another
apology
sexy
there.
Yeah, let's be real.
Is there a sexy minor in your story?
There is, but it's going to be a weird one. All right, everybody. So this is going to be the story of George Washington's ghost. Now, you're all familiar with George Washington.
I have not heard of him. Who's that?
He's the first king of America.
Oh,
Very good.
good.
Yep.
George the First
Long
George
live
the
the king.
First. Long live King George.
for king and country.
Right. Every one of our founding fathers rolling in their numerous Virginian graves, as we found out.
Their
earlier.
mass grave containing all their bones.
That is how presidents are buried. I stand by this.
It's just a stack that goes all the way down. Every time a president dies, dig another 6 feet and keep going.
kind of like popes. it's weird.
Yeah,
But
we
those
ported
are
that
always
over
near
from the
like
back.
boys' schools for popes. It's real strange.
Yeah, they're all in the presidential catacombs under the White House.
Oh, man.
It's common for the sitting president to consult with their ghosts below the White House.
You'll learn all about that if they
Oh,
ever get to
man.
National Treasure 4. It's coming up.
National Treasure 4 under the White House.
Anyway, what about George Washington's ghost now?
Turns out he has one.
Okay.
Oh, all right, cool.
All right.
All right, moving on.
Is it him just shrugging and just looking in disgust right
He just
now?
goes, I don't understand what you've done here. I set you up so well. My poor
I
children.
could have been a king.
I could have ruled forever, but instead I gave you hope.
I've made a huge mistake.
This is President Job. Anyways, upon Quincy III's arrival at Mount Vernon, Bushrod Washington assigned his guest to the Washington's bedchamber, the chamber in which his uncle had died. If you haven't extrapolated yet, Bushrod Washington is the nephew of George Washington.
Oh,
Wow,
okay.
and he ran a waxing industry.
He did, not
Just
in Colonial
outside of
Williamsburg, just
Williamsburg.
outside. For dramatic effect, Quincy Jr. explained that Judge Washington, as he withdrew, mentioned the rumor that an interview with Washington had been granted to some of the Washington bedchamber, former occupants. Upon hearing the news from Bushrod, Quincy's father pondered upon the possibility that he might be found worthy to behold the glorified spirit of him who was so revered by his countrymen, referring, of course, to the Uncle Washington, George. It seems that even George Washington's ghost was revered by Americans. This warning proved to be prophetic, according to Quincy Jr., explaining that during the night his father did see Washington. However, Quincy Jr. qualifies that this is all I have to say about it, because if he gave more details, he would have to consult an expert in cerebral illusions. Despite the younger Quincy's hesitation to give more details, he assured readers that his father's assurance in this matter was perfect, and that his father believed that brain action was at times set up in us by friends no longer in the flesh, and that his own life had been guided by these mysterious influences.
So, anyone else getting the vibe that this guy absolutely was into hallucinogenics and like
Yeah,
didn't know how to
kinda.
talk
Book
about
of
it?
Mormon vibe, just like I can only read these texts. Just trust me. There's
Just
I'm
trust
looking
me,
in this
this
hat.
is-
Leave
I
me
will
alone.
anything.
love smoking smoking opium at George Washington's
In
house,
his deathbed. I love just camping out in
Smoking
George
opium
Washington's
in his
deathbed.
chasing the dragon in Washington's deathbed.
My fellow countrymen, have you not ever imbibed of the milk of the poppy in Uncle George's room? It's fucking great. I swear to God, there's a ghost.
Something
Don't
about
look.
Uncle Georgie was just like
Yeah,
gross.
it's weird to hear someone refer to President Washington as Uncle George.
Although it's not far-fetched, the Washington ghost story, because I'm pretty sure Jefferson's ghost haunts Monticello as well.
Yeah, but if Washington's ghost haunts his bedroom, Jefferson is supposed to haunt the grounds of Monticello, walking around and whistling a slave song,
Oh,
which is
God.
frightening.
Jefferson.
That's,
Yeah.
I looked into that one
You
and
could have
kinda,
been a great. You really could have been a great like historical figure. Weren't for the slaves.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
He gave
apparently,
us the lazy Susan, or well, the swivel chair based off the lazy. Susan.
No shit.
Yeah, that was him.
I thought that was Franklin. That
No,
was Jefferson.
That was Jefferson.
he
Wow.
named it after his wife.
Do you think that he was like, "Suck it, Franklin! Look what I invented. This is way better than
I think
anything
they all
you
did that. He was also. I'm almost positive Jefferson is the one who invented the desk that while you were writing, the quill was tied to another quill that was also copying what you were writing.
What?
Really?
So like literally, he had it set up so that while he wrote, there was another quill that was actively scribbling exactly what he was doing.
So he could have a copy of it?
everything he wrote, he had a copy of.
He invented the robo-signer.
Wow.
Yes.
He invented the CC,
Yes,
What is
he
it?
did.
Robo-
And the BCC.
the passive aggressive
If he
CC.
didn't put paper underneath the other quill, BCC.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway,
Damn.
So even though Quincy Jr. claimed to not want to relay more of the incident, his writing seems to indicate otherwise. With little transition, the narrative continued by telling of a Bushrod Washington allowing Josiah Quincy III to enter Washington's tomb, a custom connected with the hospitalities of Mount Vernon in Judge Washington's time, and an act that would be scarcely possible among persons of refinement at the present day. Quincy hints at a possible cause for George Washington's ghost to be lingering at Mount Vernon, explaining that the velvet cover of the coffin was hanging in tatters, it having been brought to this condition by the assaults of relic hunters. Quincy concluded that by quoting Ralph Waldo Emerson's aphorism, "Care not to strip the dead of his sad ornament," because of all fetishes, which is how it was originally written, of all fetishes with which the imagination contrives to associate the august spirits of the great, Quincy claimed, such miserable shreds and patches are the most vulgar.
Huh. I like that because there's so many references to relatives of the presidents in that.
I did
like
Yeah.
John Quincy Adams' kid and Washington's nephew told that story. That's crazy.
that's kind of weird.
and then they
Yeah.
quoted Ralph Waldo Emerson about George
It's
Washington.
like a who's who of like early American history. It was actually a really
Right.
good story.
It'd be like if you heard
Yeah.
about like Walt Disney's great granddaughter hanging out with like Steve Jobs' granddaughter,
Yeah,
right? Like it's
Yeah.
a thing where you're just
Yeah.
like, oh
That's
wow,
true.
I guess
Yeah, I
you
guess
could
they
be
wouldn't
friends.
kind of know
Why
each
not?
other. Why not? Yeah, it makes sense.
Same country club, I
private
assume.
school.
Yeah.
You know,
It
being
just it
rich-
reminded me of like a small town story. Like, you know, like when family gets together and they're like, "Oh, did you hear what happened over at the Jeffersons' place? Turns out Uncle Tom is still oh, nope, not doing that one."
Oh.
completely not meant to be
accidental racism.
making- Yep.
Wow,
So
that's,
sorry,
that's
everyone.
great, Nick. Thanks.
Thanks, Falcon Rick.
What I like is also apparently like Bushrod in that story was like part of his hospitality was like, hey, why don't you come on and stay with me and we'll go take a look at my uncle's grave. It'll be a
Yeah,
great
Yeah.
time.
You want to see my uncle's corpse?
Yeah,
You ever
I
seen
can
a
open
dead
that. I'm
body?
allowed.
I'm allowed. I live here now. Like I technically own his corpse.
I am Lord Protector of his corpse.
Yeah, you want to go ruffle his hair a little bit?
There's not
I'll
much
crack it
left,
open.
but you know.
I do that from time to time.
Mind the skin flakes.
All
All
right.
right, Dan, what do you got? Is it?
I'm sorry. I'm still
corpses.
thinking about Mind the Skin Flakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck following that one.
Yeah.
It's gonna be on a shirt. You can buy it on our website.
Jesus.
No, I will not make that shirt. Yes,
Too
I
late.
will. It's on there.
Yeah.
The Timothy Hill house haunting is what I'm going to be talking about.
Another haunted house.
Another haunted house. So, the historic home known as the Captain Timothy Hill House can be found on the Chincoteague Island. I'm really sorry, guys. I cannot pronounce this.
Oh. I thought it was something racist and that you
I
don't want
did
to
too.
say it too. I was
No, I
like-
feel like I'm going to be racist if I try to pronounce this too
Oh,
much. Chincoteague Anyway,
That's Charlotte's. I'm just kidding.
so the historic site dates back to the 1800s and is thus considered to be the oldest remaining building on the island.
Huh.
The house was moved in 1980 after threat of demolition, yet still offers a window into a different time. What may appear as a lovely home on the outside seems to have a tangible haunted quality as soon as one steps inside. When the house stood near the water, the children who lived inside would watch the ships pass by and carve images into the wood. Remnants of this early graffiti can still be visible today. One family whose history has left an equal mark on the house was that of Captain Timothy Hill himself. So, of course, who the house is named after. One would say that's normally a good sign that
Yeah, for a historic home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The most famous person that lived in it gets to have
is
their name
going to
attached
it's
to
going
it.
to be named
Yeah.
after
house.
them. Captain Hill had many children, yet favored his daughter Jenny the most. He was adamant about his daughter marrying someone well-educated and wealthy, and therefore refused to allow the marriage between Jenny and one of her childhood friends, Tom Freeman. The news of such rejection absolutely devastated Tom, who snapped and killed Jenny in an ambush before killing himself.
What the hell?
Oh, fuck.
That
Jesus
escalated quickly.
Christ.
Yeah, never scorn a man. That's what that tells me.
Yeah, because men are crazy and they will kill you.
Yes.
Maybe he just knew Freeman was off unhinged.
Yeah, maybe he recognized that about him and was just like, well, but I don't want to say that.
Yeah.
Oh, he ain't educated like us, honey. You don't
That's
want
all it is. That's all.
The boy ain't right. Like,
Don't go scratching
could-
deeper on that.
you could do so much better.
Also, go ahead and latch your windows at night. Just trust
I'm
me.
gonna buy a dog.
Is that-
You know, just a big old dog for the house.
Maybe a few.
Couple of them. Hey,
I like
you know,
them.
your birthday's coming up. What kind of gun would you want?
You more of a rifle or a shotgun guy?
like a handgun, like
What
a
you think?
flintlock.
What-
Is this
what you
is this
want?
era appropriate for when this home
I
was
think a
built?
revolver would have
musket.
existed. Knowing the tragic history of the family who once lived here, it comes as no surprise that the house would be quite haunted. Many believe that the ghost of Jenny still haunts the building today, seeking amends for the wrong that was done to her. It's hard to deny the baffling nature of the story. If Tom had truly loved Jenny, why would he have sought to harm her in any way? Perhaps we'll never understand. Yet, the building still remains today, and for those curious to step inside, maybe you'll see a ghost or two.
Ooh.
And also, men are terrifying.
Men are the worst.
Yeah.
Literally.
We should really just get rid of them.
Brought to you
Yeah.
by a podcast of all men.
Yeah, but you know what? This is an important discussion that men need to have, is that we are the worst.
Yeah, and don't be violent.
Just don't
Don't.
do it. It's not worth it.
If you think it's a bad idea, it probably is. It's not a hard concept to understand.
Apparently it is.
Yeah.
So, Victor, you've now heard 3 separate stories. You have a vampire, you got a president, and you got a murder. What are you feeling?
Gonna go with the murder.
Yes!
Solely
Wow,
because
okay.
of, like,
Oh man.
I was like, okay, let me guess. I pictured this was that they could never be together, so their ghosts keep looking for each other. No, he murders her in cold blood and does a suicide
Kidnappers,
pact.
murders.
That's
her.
where I was thinking that story was
Yeah,
going to
I
go
thought that story
also.
too. I was like,
It's like a
cliche.
Star-crossed lovers.
Star-crossed lovers,
Lovers.
Romeo and Juliet style, but
Nope.
Violence
No.
against women.
violence against women, and it was okay. That you got your message across. Yeah, family didn't have a bad feeling about you for no reason.
I don't know. Let me remind you that mine had a guy named Bushrod in it.
I totally
point.
saw just opiate den in his house. Totally see my dead uncle. Like,
Welcome to Bushrod's house of
Sleep
opium.
in my
about
dead
it.
uncle's bed and let's go take a look at his corpse.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
John
from that
Quincy
one.
Adams' grandson.
But before we do that, we should talk about brain influences.
You want to go?
My only critique of the vampire is your sexy minor part of details into that eluded the vampire part to me. I forgot who's a vampire.
I know. But
They just went into
So
so
did
much
Brett.
detail.
I don't understand. I know that it was a story about a vampire, a very upper body muscled,
It also sounded like a
shirtless
Victorian Freddy Krueger story. Like,
Kind of.
like a
Yeah.
boiler
Add a little
exploded.
pedophilia in, and
Yeah.
you
Ooh,
got
there-
you got yourself a Freddy Krueger.
There
Is
you go.
Freddy Krueger a pedophile?
Yeah, that's why he was killed.
Really?
He was burnt to death because he was I think kidnapping the kids,
And diddling him?
diddling them, and killing them.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought the parent. Okay. You know what? I'm mixing with Simpsons homage where
Oh.
Willie is putting coal
The
into
boiler.
the front of the
Funnily
boiler.
enough, a boiler explodes and
Yeah,
kills him.
It kills him, and he
kinda-
plagues the PTA because they won't help him.
Yeah, no, the parents killed him in Nightmare on Elm Street because he was a pedophile in
Gotcha.
the neighborhood.
Wow.
Showing you that mob justice is sometimes fair.
I guess. Like, was he like a classic 70s pedophile where he
Yeah.
wasn't touching them, but he
Oh,
wanted to?
no,
or
he was
was
touching
No,
him.
yeah.
He was touching them.
okay.
Collecting things too.
Oh.
Toys.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, yeah.
Very weird.
Great, great horror monster because you hate him even as a human.
Yeah.
Cool. I need to rewatch that. I think I'll do that.
Yeah, you can watch Johnny Depp get pulled into a bed and killed. And yeah, so Freddy Krueger, you hate him as much as a human as you do as a monster. That is just who he is.
Bad guy all around.
Literally from
Yeah.
beginning to end,
And
monster.
Hate that guy.
Yep.
Sorry, that's just like me laughing at Freddy Krueger. So yeah, Freddy Krueger has nothing to do with state of Virginia. Thanks for listening to our thanks for listening to our small stories. We're gonna hit you with a radio drama coming up here soon. So guess what, Victor? Time to put your ass to work. You're gonna be
damn it.
editing this shit for days.
Yeah,
So-
you're going to
so
be
many-
miserable.
Why do I have a list of robot sound effects? That doesn't make any sense.
That will
for-
make sense in context.
You'll see.
Eventually, those will come into play.
There's
Not
so
for
much
this
Foley
story.
that goes into that.
Not for
I
this
know,
one,
but
for like 3 in the future.
You're going to be
Also,
so thankful.
Ethan and I are wondering, are we getting reimbursement for all the meat and pans we had to do for the
yeah,
last one?
we're working on that.
for
We
the
just
quote unquote zombie epic that we were supposed to do.
Did you submit the
Yeah.
expense report?
I just need to get the expense report and we'll get you reimbursed.
did hours and hours of zombie no-
yeah,
Okay.
so now I
and
need
there
you
was
to do
not
10
one-
minutes of expense reporting.
How are we supposed to know what to pay you if you don't submit that?
It's fine.
Clearly, if you cared about your finances, you'd do this.
Oh, or did you not keep your receipts again?
I kept my receipts. Ethan has them.
No.
Oh.
Ethan,
No.
You don't give
He
Ethan
said
the
he-
receipts.
Why
Don't.
loses
why
them.
is it not? He said, "I got this."
He
Don't worry
bundles
about
them
it."
up. He balls them up in his pocket. That's his filing.
Is that why he
Mm-hmm.
chuckled when he said, "I got this"? Don't worry about
He
it.
sent us a picture and said, "Look at
Did he-
all these new napkins."
So, yeah.
Okay.
All you got to do, man, make this nice and tight for our listeners. They're going to fucking love this shit. We're going to come back to you guys after a quick break and leave you with a scalding hot radio drama.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, everybody. This is Dan from Go Folk Yourself. This is an ad directed specifically to you, executives at Netflix. Have you thought, man, we love funding whatever the fuck comes in front of us? Well, why not go folk yourself? Huh?
I don't know. What it's going to be a lot of. What do you have in mind?
Doesn't matter. We'll do whatever you ask us to. We're already sold out. Don't think that we have any integrity. We don't. We will do anything you tell us to do. Anything.
I'm interested.
Do you want us to be the villains in Stranger Things series or season 3? We'll do it.
Yeah, sign me up.
I don't care.
Do you want somebody to write a bunch of pilots that'll really never go anywhere beyond one season? I could do that.
That's easy. Are you looking for someone to fill the void Kevin Spacey left? We probably don't have that one, but
No,
we
probably
could
not.
try.
You could find a much more tenured actor than us.
Yeah, you're probably going to need to, actually.
But think about it. Original content is great. And we can make original content for you.
Yeah, real easily. We do it, I mean, semi-consistently. You know, we're okay.
You know, when we have time.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if you have the money to throw at startups, we're kind of like that. This is boring.
Well, that's because all the good houses have already been TP'd.
I really thought Dutch and his friends were going and messing around in the Blackwater neighborhood.
Well, of course you did, dumb Steve. It's because you're dumb Steve.
Hey,
Hey, you goddamn kids, get away from my house with your goddamn toilet paper rolls, you little pieces of shit. God damn it.
Oh, shit, we got to go.
Come on, follow me. I know a fun spot we can go.
So where are we going?
The Fairfax Station Bridge.
Oh, no way.
Are you crazy?
what's the Fairfax Station Bridge?
It's like the only place we shouldn't be going on Halloween.
Oh, come on, Paul. You can't really think the Bunny Man is real.
My cousin's friend saw him once. He's real.
Well, your cousin's friend is a liar, Wilson.
Well, maybe you're just being an idiot, Dick.
What the heck is the Bunny Man?
Ugh, it's an old folk story.
No, it ain't. It's more like an unsolved mystery.
I'd call it more like a government cover-up.
Could one of y'all just tell me the story?
Man, calm down, dumb Steve.
Yeah, we're just getting to the story. We're just building a bit of narrative here. Quit being such a victor, dumb Steve. Okay. The story I heard starts years ago when they closed down the old mental institution. They decided they had too many prisoners, so they needed to ship them off to Lorton Prison. They packed them all in one bus and set off through these very woods. On this very stretch of land, the bus crashed. All the inmates were caught except one, Douglas Griffin.
This isn't the story I heard.
Would you shut up? You can tell yours after. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Douglas Griffin escaped, and people combed these woods looking for him. Except all that anyone ever found was bunny corpses that had been skinned and hung from trees. Like, all over the place. Everywhere they went, there was a dead bunny hanging from a branch. This went on for months and months and months, and people who came into these woods would find themselves running into dead bunnies like all the time. No one knew what to make of it. It was harmless, but creepy, you know? Well, as time passed, people just got used to it. They avoided the woods all they could is all. Until one Halloween, a group of teens just like us went to hang out under Fairfax Station Bridge, probably just killing some time and smoking some doobies. Well, that all stopped when it turned midnight. They heard a high-pitched laugh, higher than anyone would have expected from a man. And before they could even look for what caused it, someone was throwing hatchets like Mel Gibson in The Patriot, and none of them survived. They were found the next day when the bridge was being crossed. And they ain't the last ones to be killed that way on Halloween at midnight. Uh-oh, dumb Steve. That's only like 2 minutes away.
That is some made-up nonsense. I bet there wasn't even an asylum near here. I bet there wasn't even a Douglas Griffin. The story I heard, you can use Bing to look up all the facts about.
Well, let's hear it then.
Okay, well, the story is about Robert Bennett and his fiancée. You know, the ones who live in town. And this, right here, this stretch of land is where they parked.
Necking.
Necking? Who the fuck says necking?
I don't know. I was just trying to make it sound more era appropriate. Like, this may have a Stand By Me vibe.
I literally just referenced The Patriot. Area appropriate for 2000 would be fucking.
Dumb Steve, just shut the fuck up, okay? Anyway, they were parked here fucking when out of nowhere, a man approached their car. He was dressed from head to toe in a big white bunny costume, and he started shouting, "Get off my property!" And Robert, he thought nothing of it. It's Halloween after all. Probably just some guy having fun. Well, the bunny man, he keeps screaming and screaming and screaming, and just before Robert can drive away, Bunny Man throws a hatchet like Mel Gibson in The Patriot right through the window. Robert, he speeds out of there. No one was hurt, but they were shook hard. They never really talk about it much, but they confirm the story's true all the time. Even their aunt, who helped clean the glass out of the car and like out of her hair and everything, she says it's true. So they told anyone they could, and people began looking for him everywhere in these woods. And they only saw him one more time. He was standing on the porch of that house right there, just looking at this security fella. Well, the security fella started talking to him, but the bunny man just began chopping at the posts on the porch, chopping hard and fast. He screamed, "All you people trespass around here. If you don't get out of here, I'm going to bust you on the head." And that's what he does now. Anyone he catches on the property, he busts them on the head and kills them with the blunt end of his hatchet. That's why no one lives in that house still.
Maybe it was just a Klansman. I could see someone mixing up a Klansman for a guy in a bunny costume.
I don't want to be here then. I don't want to get busted on the head or meet no white knight or Klansman.
No, you won't be, because both of them got the story all wrong.
Really? Do we actually have time for 3 stories?
No, we should be fine.
I think we're good. I don't have to be home till 1.
Yeah, we're doing
Okay,
it.
I'm just
Okay,
making sure.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, tell your story, Wilson, or shut the fuck up.
Jesus, okay. Well, look, you guys know that old government building over the hill?
Yeah.
Well, they've been doing some really shady top secret work for years. And rumor has it that they may have,
Accidentally spliced a human with a bunny.
well, yeah, and that it roams these very woods looking for kills.
Isn't there a goat man in Maryland that there's like the same kind of story?
I don't know. That's from back when you had those shitty microphones.
Either way, it's a dumb story, and mine is way spookier.
I don't know. Paul's freaked me out the most because I could believe in some weirdo stalking the woods.
Yeah, but mine had the creepy laugh.
Sweet molasses! It's the first story. We gotta run.
There's nowhere we can run. Haven't you seen The Patriot?
I don't want to die.
Jesus, Paul, no! Ah!
Dumb Steve, you have to get out of here. Get help.
You're trespassing here.